Hello, everyone, and welcome to
We're not faithful to a traitor.
Traitors. I don't know what.
Because he says the whole thing.
What?
We're not faithful to a traitor.
Oh, yeah.
Well, he says traitor, but they're not faithful to the traitor.
No, but we are.
But we are faithful to the traitors.
But Ross is.
But Ben and Alex is.
We need to get a cameo from Diane to get her to say that for us.
Is she doing cameo? A few of them are doing cameos, aren't
Probably.
they, from the UK version?
But Ben and Alex is.
Ben and Alex is. That was means nothing to any US listeners. Diane's doing MasterChef. She's doing Celebrity MasterChef in the UK.
Diane was a contestant from Series 2 of the
UK version. And
Redhead.
she's a cult favourite.
She is.
So if you do watch the UK version, just bear in mind that the whole of the UK went crazy over Diane. I'm not even joking.
She was the second Princess Diane.
She really was. As well, if you are watching the second series in the UK, you can listen and watch our podcast as you go along.
That's correct.
Plug. There you go.
So this is Faithful to the Traitors, and we are discussing Series 2 of the US series of the Traitors. What are you pointing at on video?
I'm just stroking my man's face.
That's my burgerlicious.
That is my burgerlicious.
No, very
Absolutely
upsetting.
disgusting behaviour performed tonight by Poverty and Phaedra, for which I now have declared that I hope they both die.
They can't die. They're
I hope
traitors.
they both get eliminated.
Traitors
Next
can't
couple-
die. They are eternal.
They're like the Wicked Witch of the North or West or whatever from Wizard of Oz.
Wicked.
What I want to happen is I want a house to form Phaedra so her legs curl up and she turns to dust. I don't mean that. It's a joke. Please don't send us messages saying that I hate women or something like that, please. It's just a joke.
No, we like Phaedra.
We love Phaedra. I love Phaedra. If you listen to this up to this point, you know that I absolutely adore Phaedra. I actually like Parvati as well, although I didn't like her crocodile tears. I thought, I don't like it when people start using real emotions, and John saw straight through it,
Well,
which was also perfect.
he's seen enough of them from
Jacob
Boris
Rees-Mogg.
Johnson, Jacob Rees-Mogg.
Yeah,
He knows when someone's bullshitting, doesn't he? So
that's from the UK.
sadly, I feel that means Poverty is not going to be an actress because she was putting all her hopes on that. She said, maybe I could have a new career. But no, she's going to have to go back to Survivor Series 89.
Oh well, yeah. That's the sad thing is that's true. That's true. But then you need to have a bit of an acting side to you, don't you, in order to get yourself through in these reality shows.
She'll be back next series on this, probably.
Yeah, well, like Kate.
Have you heard the producers? They're like, Bananas could be back Series 3.
Why? What? Why are they discussing this already?
I don't know, but
It's because, I'm telling you that straight away, it's because they didn't want him to leave the show quite as early as he did.
Mm.
That's what happens whenever they book someone who they think will be quite good for the series and then they leave in the first... Let's call it the Pamela Anderson Dancing on Ice syndrome. She was booked for Dancing on Ice, UK, a reality show. We've discussed it already on this podcast. Just go back and find it. And they paid loads of money. Like the biggest booking ITV had could pay for. Like it was like $500,000, something ridiculous, right? And she went out on the first week. And the producers were fuming.
It's like I'm a Celebrity when they got Noel, what was his name?
Oh, Noel Edmonds.
Yeah, although he went really quick as well and he cost loads of money.
Yeah, he went out after 5 days. Or Nigel Farage.
He stayed to the end.
Yeah, but no one watched. They thought they were going to get ratings in, and then they started editing him out because they didn't like his views. Anyway, let's not talk about that
No, what
rubbish.
podcast is this?
Let's talk about the Traitors US Series
Right.
2. And you know
Faithful
what?
to the Traitors.
You guys can get in touch with us and discuss Traitors as well. Or in fact, any reality show, why not? Just bring it on to us. Go to...
Should we rebrand called Faithful to Reality?
That's not a bad idea. People have asked us to do different reality shows and we keep and ahhing it. So get in touch if you do have any ideas. faithfultothetraitors@gmail.com is our email address. You can find us on Twitter. At Traitors Podcast. You can find us on Instagram at Faithful to the Traitors. You can find us on YouTube by searching Faithful to the Traitors Podcast. And then you can comment underneath the video. Of course, don't forget to subscribe, ring the bell, and like to follow us and not miss any future episodes of the podcast. And you can listen to us on any of your favourite podcast apps. Don't forget to also subscribe and give us 5 stars and comment why you've given us 5 stars if you enjoy listening to the podcast. And of course, not only can you tell your friends about us to help the podcast grow, but you can also help us grow by going to buymeacoffee.com/faithful and sending us some gold bars, some silver coins, whatever the currency is at the time. our way. Thank you so much to some people who have been doing that for us as well. We've been so grateful. And I can see Ben hovering with his thumb over some comments as well.
Well, you mentioned comments, so I thought I'd read some out. We've got a comment from Blurp232. Said, 1. Has it ever been stated that players with shields are immune not only from murder, but also from recruitment?
No.
They are not immune from recruitment. They can be recruited.
They can be recruited.
They
They just cannot be murdered. There's no stipulation for that.
Cherie. Cherie.
That's a nice, easy answer. I like that. Normally it's like 5-hour-long explanation.
Last week we said Cherie's name is pronounced Cherie in England.
Chim Cherie, yeah.
She said number 2. Cherie's name rhymes with away.
Shui.
Shui.
Shui. Feng Shui.
3. I think we can logically assume Alex's substantial beard would qualify him as the brackets wolf. And Ben
Okay. Thank you.
Ben clearly fits the gay definition of a bear, which I find insulting.
Oh, really? Why?
I don't know, being called a bear makes me feel... No, I'm not going to go
We knew one of us
yeah,
had to be the bear, one had to be the wolf. Did you want to be the wolf then?
No, I just don't want
You
to.
didn't want to be either. Ben doesn't want to play this game at all.
4.
Yes.
Because you just said Twitter. Thank you for going back to calling the bird site Twitter.
Yes.
I'd been finding it just a tad irksome that you'd been buying into Musk's foolishness. No, we have not been going into his foolishness. Musk.
It's just...
If you listen to comment below...
Elon Musk?
No, you changed your mind because you listened to an audio book.
I'm still listening to his audio book, his autobiography. It's written by a ghostwriter about him. He's got a very interesting past.
No.
He has.
Well, okay, you have an interesting past, but you still not like him.
I mean, I think I read somewhere someone said that Adolf Hitler had an interesting past, but that doesn't necessarily make him a good person.
What are you going on about?
Well, what I'm saying is that from what I've read up to this point, I think that Elon has made some very suspicious decisions, and I don't agree with a lot of the things he says. However, what's this got to do with the traitors? Why are you questioning me about Elon Musk? I don't love the guy.
Person who commented.
I don't want to give him a ticker parade and have him paraded up and down the high street, going like, "Yeah, Elon." I'm just saying that you need to, if you really want to know about the person, you need to read their autobiography.
He didn't write it though, so it might not.
No, but he participated. He's the same guy who wrote the Steve Jobs book. The Steve Jobs book is really interesting too. Right. Like you see a new side. See, I always thought Steve Jobs was like this greatest guy, but actually, from reading the book, he's actually got quite a dark past himself. Anyway, so the Traitors US in series 2.
Yes, we said goodbye. There was a murder.
There was a murder, as my effigy behind us is telling us right now. There was a murder, and unfortunately, it was for the beautiful, delightful.
That's my Burgerlicious.
Burgerlicious.
Oh no.
Nope.
What's your name and where do you come from?
We're going in.
Ooh, I wish I was.
I just saw on Bergie's Instagram, he's doing, I don't know what it's called, but you can spend a week with him on a cruise ship doing a murder mystery. You can be part of Team Bergie.
Okay.
So there you go.
How much is it?
I don't know. I couldn't read it. It was a very long paragraph he'd written.
It's my birthday in April.
Oh, yeah. Burgerlicious time. So, Bergie.
Buymeacoffee.com/faithful. We've got a new target.
Oh, have you not done that yet?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Just letting people know there's a new target.
Oh, the Burgerlicious.
Bergie cruise.
Cruising with Bergie.
Cruising with Bergie. I'd love to cruise with Bergie.
Right.
I don't think I'd want to do anything else. I just want to do that. Sorry, tell me about the guy. Just a cuddle. I'd love to read his autobiography.
I bet he gives a good hug.
I bet he's got a lovely hug. I bet he smells really sweet. Like he smells like freshly laundered. Like what's that? Like you can buy like the powder and it smells like Hawaii. So it's like sweet fruits and like wood. I bet that's what he smells of.
Beatty does a good picnic.
I bet he does a good lot of things
in a national park. Right, so a late contestant addition.
Of Yogi Bear.
Yeah,
picnic basket.
A late contestant addition to Love Island USA Series 5. God, Bergie didn't officially win the season, but he made a love match with fellow contestant Taylor Smith.
I don't like her.
No, she sounds horrible.
Common last name as well, Smith. Taylor Smith.
No Bergie, is it?
Does she think she's Taylor Swift, does she? Think she's been clever?
His name's actually Carsten. He was a fan favourite of the show for his nice guy ways. Why is nice guy in a quote? Is it not true?
Maybe he's not nice.
So we'll see if that gets used against him on the Traitors, and I think it did. He was just too nice and too innocent for the world.
So the reason they
And
got
that
rid
was
of
that.
Bergie was because he said they said that he was Peter's yes man. So maybe because he was too close with Peter, that basically put him as a target shot.
Yeah, because they were trying to get rid of Peter's clique, the Peter's Angels, which we coined
Yes.
last week.
Don't think anyone's catched on, but it's fine. I like being different.
Well, Phaedra had a better one, Pete's pals, so...
No, because Pedro, I've told you, Pedro can bugger off, I'm telling you.
Phaedra.
Oh, Pedro,
No one knows.
Peter pals. Pedro.
So, yeah, Bergie was gone, and the whole episode was kind of pointing to two people, really.
Which were both traitors.
Yes.
Parvati and Phaedra.
The two traitors.
Yes. And Trishelle convinced Peter to change their game plan, because essentially it was the group effort, Peter, Trishelle and Kevin, that they were going... They didn't involve John, which surprised me, I must add. That they were going to stop going for Parvati because it was too obvious, and they were going to now start looking at doing Phaedra, because Parvati is such a wounded bird that there's no point kind of like keeping her, getting rid of her. They might as well keep her on because she's someone they could easily manipulate, which is also something we saw happen early on, because Peter kind of did manipulate her earlier on, but then that was to his detriment later, because then that put him in the firing line with some of the people, because they were a bit confused for why Peter suddenly went from being completely Parvati needs to go to actually I like Parvati now, Phaedra needs to go. So it didn't work. Trishelle kind of inadvertently mucked up Peter's plan here, and I
don't think those three, Kevin, Peter and Trishelle, didn't involve enough people in the plan. This could have been a classic traitor blindside here.
I agree.
For Phaedra. Not that I want Phaedra to go, so I'm kind of happy it went like this. But they didn't involve enough people. So then when it came to the round table, because Trishelle was like, I got loads of evidence, but I'm only going to say it at the round table. But then they didn't let anyone in on any of the plan.
No.
So when Peter was then sticking up for Parvati, Kate pipes up, was like, I'm a seasoned...
Well, yeah, who put 50p in bloody Kate this episode?
I'm a seasoned professional at this game.
Yeah.
This doesn't add up.
Suddenly I know how to play. Considering she spent the last 3 episodes going, I don't know why I'm here. I don't know what's going on. I don't know anyone. Yeah, and then all of a sudden she was defending Phaedra. That was weird.
Yes. They're all... I know we don't know who's a traitor at the end, but I'm surprised Phaedra didn't get Sheree.
I do know who the traitor is.
I know, that's what I mean. But we don't know if she says yes, but...
Well, she has to.
Or mad, or dead.
Yeah, but then that's it.
Good.
That's their only opportunity.
I'm just saying, I'm surprised
The whole group, that would be funny if they went through every single person. They all said no, and then the end of the show, the producers would be like, "What do we do now? Bring back bananas.
I'm
Bring back
surprised.
Bergie."
I'm surprised she didn't go for a fellow housewife, which is what surprised me.
I thought she was going to go for Trishelle, honestly, because I thought Trishelle kind of has taken almost over Peter's role as being the one that people are now trusting, which is weird if you think about it, because Trishelle was really the one who gunned for Phaedra, but because of that alliance that had been drawn between Parvati and Peter, that's our producer, by the way, walking past, you could hear, it really did taint his reputation among the group, even with Kevin, who was privy to the plan as well, and then Kevin was a bit like, oh, well, no, I don't know why he did that now.
I don't think much of Kevin. I feel like he's not really done much or played much or...
No, he hasn't. He's been in the background the whole time. And
he's there in his tight T-shirts. It's like, well, give me a bit more.
That's fine. That's always... Well, what more do you want from a tight T-shirt? No T-shirt is the most you can get.
Yeah. I think we've seen that.
You want him to turn up at the round table with no shirt on?
That'll get Kate's vote.
I don't know. Kate seems to have really made a friend with Phaedra. She's kind of got herself in with the housewives, hasn't she? And the Sunsets strip lady MJ.
MJ keeps walking into rooms, not really knowing what she's
hiding as well. You keep finding her behind bookcases going, going like that, like the Grinch. Not that she looks like the Grinch.
It's all a bit odd. I find the trouble is with the celebrity, which is I always was a bit wary of this series anyway, and it hasn't been as bad as I thought. But the trouble with it is because they're all these seasoned reality TV gamers, housewives, blah blah blah,
challengers, bachelors.
You can't trust anyone or root for anyone. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm finding it really hard to be like, oh, I'd really want Kevin to win, or because they're just all backstabby and traitory. None of them trust each other. You can't trust anything they say. Like when Parvati was like crying to John about how she's changed and she's felt this and she's anxious, she's changed her life. It's like, I'm opening up, and it's like all of that was fake, and it's like,
Yeah, but that
What's
does
the point
happen.
of all this?
That does happen in other versions when there's not
There is not quite so much. This is like
I know.
when Peter was talking to Parvati around the table, and it was like both of them were both playing game off each other. So it just kind of made it pointless. And Kate just walks around. She doesn't really care. You know what I mean? It's like it's hard to find someone who cares because they're all like millionaires.
I know.
So it's like,
I
what's
see
the
where you're
point of
going.
all
I
this?
see where you're going. I think I think Kate clearly is an odd one out there because Kate clearly is there for the paycheck. We don't know whether, if at all, any of the characters in this game, the American series, has been paid for being there. They may not have been paid for being there.
But the housewives have.
We don't.
They wouldn't be there if that was
It could be under contract. They could be under a contract, a channel wide or a network. You know, like they work for Comcast or something. It could be under one thing. So it says in their contract that they would be required to do their main show, Real Housewives, and any additional work if required. So you don't know if they're getting paid for this.
They are technically them getting paid.
Yeah, but they are, but
All we
only
need to do-
under the contract of what the program they originally are famous for doing.
Well, next year we can check John's self-assessment.
Yes,
Because he'll have to announce
declare it. He would have to
So
declare it.
next year I'll be going through them on the HMRC website for John, and then we'll find out the
I'm
truth.
not being funny, but I genuinely believe that if you got in touch with, let's say, Bergie, just because I've got him in my heart, and said to him, "Hey, Bergie, we love your shit. We love your shit, and we also been watching you. We do a podcast. Can you tell us, were you paid to do the show?
And if not, was anyone else paid?
Yeah, if anyone who is on the American version, like, you know, we love you all, mainly. If any of you would genuinely want to just get in touch with us and just say to us, are you paid to participate in the show, or is it all about the prize money?
Just a simple yes or no in an email.
Yeah,
Just yes
don't
or
need to talk to
no.
us, it's fine.
Nothing else, and we'll know what you're on.
We'll know what you're talking about. If you know, you know. Because if you think about it, they don't say that the prize money, normally for like a celebrity version of anything. So Charlie's very excited about today's episode. They don't normally, when they're doing like a celebrity version of something, normally the prize at the end is given to a charity. But they don't mention that. So the prize is technically
Their
prize
pay.
money, their pay, yeah. So it could be an additional, it's almost like a bonus in their pay. So I completely agree with what you're saying, that the stakes don't seem quite so high because it's not just 22 random strangers like playing together.
And none of them are forming actual bonds, even though they pretend they are. Like, I don't think they are. Like, they'll just all backstab each other. So I feel like...
Yeah, but again, that's the nature of the show.
I know, but
being
not as
funny,
a
but that is-
faithful.
It is.
It's like they're all traitors.
That happened, especially on the UK series, especially this one past.
What were you saying?
I'm not going to say anything, but there was a few groups, few friendship bonds, and they did vote for their friends because they felt like they were traitors. They had to take that out of the account, and they had to realise that they had to vote for who they believed was a traitor. So it does. I'm sorry, but it does happen, I think, in the game.
No, it just feels different.
It feels different because it's America, and I think, and these
Scotland,
are
actually.
famous people, the American version, and they're all famous people to American viewers, to us as UK viewers. That's why I can kind of watch it from the outside. I can step back and almost look at it through the window, like Snow White in the famous film. I don't know where that came from. You can happily kind of just watch it from the outside in. And so I don't mind this series not so much. The only thing that kind of pulls me out of it is Kate. Every time it's Kate. And it's because Kate, for 1 minute, moans about being in a scenario where she doesn't want to be in it. And then in the next, she's going on about how much she loves playing this game. And it's like, well, make your mind up, Kate. Do you want to do one or the other? She's,
Also, why did she come in late? Like, just come in episode 1?
because
Like,
it takes things up.
it was just stupid. I saw people, because we can't forget Dr. Will.
Oh, right. No, see, this annoys me about shows
Another
like
one.
this. It's like, not another one. Why did they introduce this guy?
I don't know.
Not at all. And it's got nothing to do with it. It's like there's just a passing comment of, oh, here's Dr. Will from Big Brother. And it's like, oh, whoopee flipping do.
I know, it's like, am I meant to be
Why?
impressed here?
Like, if I was Alan Cumming, I'd be like, why have you introduced this guy to open a door for them and then go, time to get out now? It was just annoying. It was so unnecessary. That was unnecessary. I agree with you there. So anyway,
Second series winner, he was a Big Brother.
what, series
2001.
Big Brother? Well, that's...
Yes.
Yeah, but look at the other crap.
He
he's
also
been on.
returned for
The
Big
Price
Brother
is
also.
Right. He was on The Price is Right, for crying out loud. And that's a guy who's seen as being more famous than the people who are on the show.
He was a bounty hunter in a Star Wars episode of The Book of Boba Fett.
Oh, well, good for him. He was also the cabin keeper on Series 2 of the Traitors US.
Yeah, like, couldn't that job have gone
What a
to
credit.
Kate? Kate could have been the cabin person, and that could have been her.
Why
role
would
this
Kate have
series.
that cabin though?
Why does Dr. Will have the cabin?
Yeah, but there's more. We know more about Kate, so we know that she wouldn't have that cabin. In fact, she was one of the 4 people who left the game halfway through because they didn't want to play anymore.
That's what I mean. They were getting paid, and they're like, "No, I'm not doing this." So there's all the housewives went, didn't they? Who was it? MJ,
I've got the list.
Phaedra, Cherie, and Kate.
Exactly that. 4. So they lost $4,000 for each one who went out. It was dumb.
Yes, this challenge. We'll talk about the challenge very quickly because we've kind of gone over time by accident.
Well, we should say. Well, no. To be fair, we did talk for about 10 minutes about absolutely nonsense.
Exactly, that's what I mean.
We're gonna have someone's tag at the bottom of this thing saying they start talking about the traitors at minute 8. we apologise
Minute
for that.
18.
Yeah. Who got the shield? Trishelle got the shield, and Peter wanted everyone to keep quiet.
CT gave it to her as well to like make up for not picking her.
What about the
torch.
shield?
I don't think CT's doing. All he's doing is drinking brandies and
I thought you were going to say something then. They think CT could have achieved that. Poor CT. Don't emasculate.
He always. I'm not saying he always looks hungover, and he talks. He looks like some guy you see at the pub every night. Like
right.
you walk past the pub, he's in there. At
He's
the
in
same
there.
time.
Yeah. From the moment he's left his shift at the factory, he's in the pub until the moment this pub closes. He goes home. He picks up a quick Chinese takeaway on the way home, and half eats it, and then wakes up in the morning and then finishes it off and then heads off to work again. It's not that I've ever lived that life.
No. But the challenge was basically they had to keep a light on in the cabin, go through tunnels, do loads of weird things, pick up gold, and come out of a well where Alan Cumming was there for some reason and not the other guy.
Not Dr. Phil.
Dr. Will was only at the beginning, not the end. I don't really understand any of it. That could have been Ferguson's job.
It was a disappointing game in my thoughts because
They all gave up.
because they all quit, but also because in the UK version, a really good thing happened in it. It was a really good game. It ended up being a really interesting twist.
Yeah, well, Peter did say to Trishelle and everyone around, don't tell anyone you have the shield, but it didn't really mean much because they had to do a recruitment, so the shield was kind of pointless. So
then they got to the round table, and there was a 2-person shootout between Phaedra and Parvati.
And both of them knew that.
Yes, they went in knowing it. Phaedra, not so much, I don't think, because Phaedra was the last one at the table eating pork belly, having a lovely time.
So every time you walked into rooms, people sort of, Kate went to the toilet, someone else left.
Kate, her best friend, was so awkward that she couldn't sit with her in the room, so she had to leave.
So I think, and Phaedra went in thinking, I'm voting for Parvati because I have to. Parvati was I'm voting for Phaedra, the 2 traitors.
Yeah, they had
one of us has to go, basically.
It was brought up actually by Trishelle because Trishelle had her list of
Yes,
reasons
her
why she
extensive evidence.
and it started with the least convincing to the most convincing.
Which didn't last long because
Phaedra is very good. Have to say, she shoots you.
Well, she's a lawyer.
Solicitor. Yeah, she is a good. She's a solicitor, and she should never give up her day job because my God, if I needed legal advice, I would go to Phaedra 100%. She's fantastic. She can argue her cause, the case perfectly. And
Oh, my Lord, sweet baby Jesus.
indeed, and it made Trishelle crumble a little bit. And so Peter kind of tried to pick up the slack at the round table, but then that's when it got pointed out and picked apart by then John, one of them. John picked it apart and said that after Parvati's tear-induced plea to him to say like, oh, I didn't mean to do anything, I'm innocent. She's like, now you're a liar, go away. And Kate, MJ obviously did what MJ always does, and that's just sit there and kind of look a bit like Google-faced. And Cherie just went with Phaedra because they're their best pals. Sheree. And Sandra's a bit of an enigma because Sandra knew Parvati, despite last episode not thinking Parvati was, decided that she was, voted for her, and then felt like that was it. You know what I mean? Like there was nothing else to do.
Sandra suddenly was like, I'm now the queen of the game.
Yeah.
It's like, sorry, what's Sandra?
Sandra, you've literally done nothing.
What's happened here? I don't know. People keep commenting saying Sandra waits till the end of the game and then plays.
Well, I'm waiting.
We are waiting. She has announced that she is now the top player of the game. So we'll see next episode if it comes true.
Snooker balls on a table and said, "This is a Parvati and this is me, and this is me going in my pocket."
I like that. That was good. But I do feel she's kind of like her, Kevin, Cherie are kind of just there, and MJ.
Cherie.
I can't. It's like Lara and Laura. It's like Lara Croft and Laura Croft.
Well, that's true. I was going to say to any Americans out there, like, this is one for you. You tell us off for saying names wrong. It's Lara Croft. The new Tomb Raider game is out, right? Loads of reviews. Lara Croft, not Laura. Good.
Well, it's not Cherie.
Well, exactly.
I can't not say Cherie because it's
Tit for
just in
tat.
my
That's
head.
what I'm playing now. Tit for bloody tat.
So those are kind of just players who are just like hanging on. I feel not really doing much for the game. John has come out of nowhere as like this person everyone listens to and is really wise and knows everything.
John is, they basically decided John's faithful. So it's one of those situations where it would be interesting if you saw him become a traitor, but I don't think that's going to happen. CT's, for me, the dark horse. CT's the kind of one who kind of gathers the information and then makes his decision. I have to say, he's probably taking over a little bit from Peter's. I think is going a little bit too headstrong now, and I think there's a degree of arrogance with Peter, where he thinks that everything he's saying is being listened to. With the arrogance comes a fall, and I think it's on its way. CT is almost doing the same as what Peter was doing, but from a very
trustworthy,
trusted distance. Yeah, so I think CT's got a good chance here. If we're going to start discussing final four,
I'm not sure how many episodes. I think it's 10 or 11 episodes, isn't it?
I think it's 11.
Series.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's a few more, but we're getting to the end now where you have to sort of pick. I mean, just to spoil the ending, Phaedra had to recruit.
Well, first of all, Parvati got eliminated. So between Parvati and Phaedra, it was Parvati that went out.
Yeah.
I don't know what people know this.
I know. So shut up.
I will.
So
just put my picture of Berg.
she recruited Kate. I'm not sure what's going on with the twist of Kate because they put her in a dungeon for some reason, but no one really knows what's going on.
No reason. They just want to get rid of her in a dungeon. I'd put her in a dungeon.
Their pay.
Yeah.
So we know that she's basically has to accept or get killed. So she's going to accept. Which I thought you had to accept anyways, the rules, because you can't have one traitor. Because if the next episode...
That was the rule. So if she doesn't accept, then she gets murdered.
Yeah, but then they can't have one traitor, though.
Well, presumably, then Phaedra tries again and keeps going until someone accepts it. That's why jokes has said that there'll be no one there. Oh, someone will accept it eventually. Look, there's still another, 7 people to choose from?
True.
8 people to choose from.
I mean, I'm assuming Kate's going to accept, which I was getting to my point. My point was, because now she's a traitor, I now obviously am Team Faithful, as I've been saying on the beginning of every episode, for the past 70 episodes. So I'm here for Faithful win currently, down to Kate being a traitor. Because the last thing I want is Kate to win. Although if she wins, maybe she can't be invited back.
No, they'll invite her back. Every series now, we're going to have Kate there. And
well, she's not won me over still. So.
Yeah, no, Kate will 100% accept because she said from the beginning, her very first soundbite was like, oh, they better make me a traitor, and they didn't. But the irony of it all, for me, is that Kate goes on and on and on about not wanting to be there, wanting to leave the game, and then when she's giving an opportunity to leave the game, she then decides, well, we don't know for sure, but she decides not to. But then I suppose it's not like she's leaving the game through a banishment. She's technically becoming a traitor, which is, in her eyes, much more fun. Interesting point, actually, I noticed. When Parvati was saying her goodbye speech, she said she didn't want to be a traitor. She said she wanted to be a faithful.
Yeah, because she spent months and months and years learning how to be kind and nice and say good things and think good things, and they gave her the poison chalice.
They did, literally. So I thought that was interesting, that when she said she didn't want to be a traitor. Still surprised they didn't go for Peter, I have to say. I thought Phaedra, for me, it was a toss-up between Trishelle and Peter being chosen.
I know, why did he choose Kate? It's just so stupid, because
she's asked her to.
She's not... Do you think she's going to be able to be a good traitor? Or people just not look at her or listen to her, so she's a good traitor because she'll just act the same?
But the thing is, to be a traitor, you need influence. The two people who pretty much have, CT actually, I'd say CT, Trishelle and Peter have influence within the game. MJ doesn't have any influence. She's watching from the outside.
Kate does keep saying things though, and people do listen, and they are.
Really, I think Phaedra and Cherie listen, but no one else does. No, they don't.
But she is right a lot of the time, which is annoying.
What, Kate? Yeah, but that's been through the world over. We've always moaned about how she's always ends up somehow stumbling to be correct every time. But I just think that if you want a good traitor, they need to have influence within the game, and I think, with Trishelle being so suspicious of Phaedra and Peter being around, I just feel like that they would have been a better choice for the game than Kate would have been. So I'm not saying there is an influence outside, but you could argue that there may have been, because we know for a fact that the producer told them that they were going to vote Kate out like the day she arrived, and they were told not to. Yeah. So,
do you think Kate will work with Phaedra? Will she be trustworthy, like as a team? Because Phaedra said we can both take on the win now, both of us.
I think Kate will pretend she doesn't care. I think Phaedra would be beneficial to just bear in mind that she's an easy one to get rid of. She could easily manipulate the group to think that Kate is a traitor, and I think that may be a factor in her decision. Let's be honest.
So I mean, episode 9 next week then. So it's a reset because when they recruit a traitor, it kind of resets the whole game, and anyone can now be a traitor. So I wonder if Peter will get eyes on him again.
I think Peter's in trouble. I think Trishelle somehow she's somehow convinced people to change their mind and go for Phaedra, but not really got in as much trouble as Peter got for it. So it'll be interesting to see how that ends up. And I hope that MJ finds a nice little place for her to sit down and have a nice peppermint tea. So
there you go then.
What do you guys think is going to happen on the next episode of The Traitors? What did you like or love or loathe about this episode of The Traitors? Just get in touch with us, faithfultothetraitors@gmail.com. You can find us on Twitter @Traitors Podcast. It's difficult now. I have to think the other way around. Instagram @FaithfulToTheTraitors. If you watch us on YouTube, search Faithful to the Traitors Podcast. Like, subscribe, and ring the bell to never miss a future episode. And comment underneath the video. Don't forget to share it with your friends on all your social medias as well. And don't forget you can also listen to us on any of your favourite podcast apps. Just don't forget to subscribe. And if you love the podcast, give us 5 stars and comment for why you love the podcast. And as I say, we're looking for a new goal now. We're looking to get on that Burgerlicious ferry. Cruise,
murder cruise,
where we would record the whole thing, including me trying to get Berg in my cabin.
Seduce or murder.
I will seduce Bergie. Go to buymeacoffee.com/faithful and you can throw a silver coin or a gold bar or whatever our way to help with the show. And that'd be great. Thank you.
Lovely. So until next week then, stay faithful.
See you later, chaps.